I spent most of my weekend in my room, not doing my homework, not working on my presentation, but watching anime. People always wonder how come a Japanese manga and anime keep me in bed for 16 hours each weekend. Or how come the simple movement of a whole bunch of two-dimensional drawing thing can be so addictive. Today I'm going to talk about my favorite subject through my 18 years life, anime. According to Maha, the Japanese animation can call anime, and it is popular from animation in Japan, which is quickly spread into the US. The first American cartoon was called The Humorous Face of Funny Face, and it was made in 1907, but the first Japanese cartoon was made in 1920, 13 years later after than the American one. Later, Disney started its historical progression on animation in American. Disney created hundreds of classical cartoon shows and movies, such as Mickey Mouse and his friends Snow White, Peter Pan, and Lion King. These fairy tales were all made into movies by this great company. Compare the development history between anime and cartoon. Japanese anime seems falling behind American animation. Justice said that American animation is more affected by the computer graphics, and American created the 3D movie Toy Story, whereas Japanese went for profiting their graphics. American animation is awesome, however, Japanese anime has its special attraction, even though Japanese start making their cartoon later than in American. The Japanese anime is now one of the most developed styles of animation in the world, which the development of anime Japanese produce a new kind of comic book, and we call them manga. Today I'm only going to talk about two main kinds of Japanese anime. First of them is the anime for children and young teenage kids. For example, Pokemon. This kind of anime usually doesn't have much to do with the story itself, but the million of monsters in the cartoon, and usually series will be on for a very, very long time. Pokemon is a very successful example of anime. It is popular spill over to American, and it leads many of Americans fall in love with this anime. One of other kinds of anime is the hot blood fighting anime. 10 years ago, the hot blood shows were always reminded by Slam Dunk and Dragon Ball Z. They're once the most popular anime in Japan and China. And now we have Naruto. In this mainly anime, the main character will never die, and no matter how badly the extremely powerful bad guy injured them, they can always relieve, and at the end they always win. There is more to anime than watching it. Some people dress up as their favorite character, and that is called cosplay. Cosplay is one of the ways to express the love to anime. According to teenspace.com, cosplay is a term that originates in Japan, but it's based on English word costume play. Even if cosplay might sound unfamiliar to you, but it is actually not. Dress up like a Superman or an apple on Halloween days, it is technically called cosplay as well. Cosplay is basically the name of the costume, which is exactly like the one in cartoon. The one who is costuming is called cosplayer. Cosplay is really amazing activity. It brings those 2D characters into our real world. Even without the big detailed eyes, cosplay can be very beautiful close to the exact character. In the world of cosplay, men can dress up like women, and women can dress up like a man. Many professional cosplayers have done that before, and they just look as pretty as the actual cartoon character. As I described before, cosplay is a way to spread the love to anime. So not only expert, but everybody can cosplay. Such as this fat man, he can be Sailor Moon if he wants. So now all of you should know that anime has a long history, and it is origin from Japan, then it spread into American and all the world. Anime have so many types. Because of the time limit, I can only introduce two types. And one is for young teenager kids, and the other one is the fighting anime. Japanese anime is fun to watch and experience. How often you can see a man having a serious talk with a cat, or how often you can find that aliens are afraid of birds. Um, I have never seen this in the real world, but all in the world of anime. All of this relaxes me from the tension of study. At least when I'm watching animation, I can forget about sine, tangent, cotangent from calculus. It grows my imagination and it put me in love of drawing. Thank you.
542.